Hello, this is GoggleCandy. Now, Super Street Fighter 4, it's on the way. Not that I really have to tell any of you this, because obviously you know that from watching this video. I doubt anyone who knows me anyway doesn't know that this game is coming out. Now, to prepare for its upcoming release, I decided to do something a little more personal. Something for the channel. Therefore, I'm going to take a look at all of the characters in Super Street Fighter 4, from Super Street Fighter 4, and the new ones. Though I'll spend less time with the new characters as obviously I haven't played them yet, so I really can't give an honest opinion. But the other characters, I'll explain my experiences with them in Street Fighter 4 and what I've seen in Super Street Fighter 4, from new ultras to character tweaks that have been talked about. Now, I'll do this in episodes, usually with 2 characters in them. And I figure, if I've done most of my math right, that I'll come pretty close to the release day once I reach the end of these. For the new characters, I'll probably do 3 per episode, because again, I won't be spending that much time with them. That being said, let's jump. So the first character I'm going to take a look at is Abel. Yes, we're going to go alphabetically with this, so those of you waiting for my review of Zangief will have to wait quite a while. Abel was one of the 4 new characters in Street Fighter 4. Most people described him as an MMA fighter because there was really no way to describe him other than a grappler. And of course it was joked about that he was French and would just give up every match. So the only introduction we have with Abel is probably the worst one you could think of for a generic new character. He has amnesia. Isn't that convenient? Yeah. So we have a French amnesiac grappler for whatever reason Guile doesn't like. But Chun-Li apparently likes him. Maybe she just doesn't tell Guile everything. So now let's move on to the character himself and what he can do. Well, one of the first moves you usually find is his roll, which is basically we're just going to call it a Hadouken roll. It's just down to forward. So Hadouken roll kick gives you a roll that gets through pretty much anything striking. However, it's probably one of the worst avoidance moves in the game, as far as ones that work along those lines, similar to like a teleport. The problem with the roll is the fact that any grappling move can beat it. A regular grab or something special from Zangief or El Forte beats out that roll. Now, the positive with Abel is in the fact that he juggles and combos in a mystifying way. He is probably most dictated by the frame rate data than any other character. There are some weird combos you can do with him that on the receiving end don't make a lick of sense as to why you're still being hit. You know if you're playing against someone who doesn't really play Abel, because they'll mash out a couple punches, do that little twirly crescent kick, and then have that little punch into throw combo move, whatever. A good Abel, you rarely see those. Usually it's his special grab and one of those weird little combos I mentioned that deal the most damage to you. Now, one of the bad things about his Ultra in the first game was the fact that any low move beats it. You almost always had to combo or juggle into that Ultra for it to hit. If you did it just on a whim or online, all somebody needed to do was kick you in the shins, and you went down fast. Now, let's look at the new Ultra they gave Abel. You know, the one that can be held in place and is a grapple. Holy crap. Just take Blanca's Ultra, make it a grapple, and it's pretty much similar, except for the fact that it does more damage. Like, every video I've seen, he nearly, if not, KOs them with that one special. It's repugnant how much damage it seems to do. We don't have exact numbers, but it seems pretty KOable. And you really don't need to juggle into it. Hell, if your timing's off, you can just wait there for him. Come on down, come on, I know, yeah, there we go. So, Abel, I don't know. Abel I was never really that impressed with. I was never really against. He never really hit any of my, positive marks, but he never really seemed to annoy me as a character to begin with. People online seem to take him seriously, and most of them are pretty serious about Abel. you kind of have to be to learn some of those weird friggin' combos that he does, and all those soft resets that will mess up a good player. If you want some really weird combos and resets, go check out anything that Rico Suave does. And yes, if you're not familiar with the tournament scene, that's his gamer name, is Rico Suave. Type that in and Abel, and you have some really awesome Abel action going on. So, what am I going to rate him? And yes, I'm going to rate these characters. Not by how good of a character they are overall, not by how annoying they are, how cheap they are, how awesome they are. None of those. Just my personal thoughts on them. I.e., if I look back at that character and say, I really like that character overall for whatever reason, I did. If for some reason, whether it be game mechanics or just the fact that every online person uses them and is a total douchebag, then yeah, that'll count against the character, because that's my impression of that character. That's how I feel when I see them across the screen for me. So, what do I give Abel? Basically a 3 out of 5. He didn't tickle my fancy, but he didn't annoy me either. He was just sort of there. So, Abel, you got a new Ultra, and I'm pretty sure you might be going up a tier, if not a couple rungs.